What up? This Bust Down. You are now tuned in to Nolazine TV. Yeah. Let's do it. Let's go.
Okay, so tell everybody, where you from?
Well, I'm from the West Bank side of New Orleans. I'm from Marrero. I live in Texas right now, but that's why I came of age. That's my stomping grounds to this very day.
The whole West Bank.
Whole West Bank, baby. Yeah.
I'm in Harvard right now.
Yeah, I always got love from Harvard all the time. I'm sitting here with Courtney right now. You know what I'm saying?
Yo, we got Courtney in the building there.
Yeah.
All right.
Yes, sir.
So let's get it fully started. So growing up for you, who influenced you to actually become a music artist?
Well, it really started in terms of hip hop. It started with Sugar Hill Gang, of course, Rappers Delight, 1979. But the artists who really inspired me to wanna get into hip hop was Gregory D, with Buck Jump Time, and Warren Mays with Get It Girl. They were the ones that showed me you could be from here and you could rock out and your people will support you. And what I learned from that was, what was consistent with both of them is their songs were party tracks. In New Orleans has always been a party oriented spot, and they catered to that. And so I kind of, took the baton from them, so to speak, and rocked out with Put Your Ballys On, which was a party track as well.
Okay. So, Put Your Ballys On.
Yeah.
So, how did you come up with it? And also, when you was in the studio singing it, did you have a pair of ballads around that time?
I'm going to be honest with you, man. When I first did the song, I ain't had no ballads. I didn't. And it was so funny, man, because the first time I ever performed that song was I opened up for Jeffrey Osborne. And I did Put Your Ballys On with a pair of Nike Cortez on. But nobody called me out on it, you know what I'm saying? But when the song finally did hitting, when it got some traction, yeah, of course, I started doing gigs, and then I started buying buku ballads at that point. But it was kind of like, I spoke it into existence.
Okay. So, actually tell us, which was your first song? Nasty Bitch, Pop That Thing, Put Your Ballys On?
Well, Nasty Bitch was first, but I hadn't released it. Okay. I used to perform Nasty Bitch in the gong shows. That's kind of lost in the history of hip-hop in New Orleans and entertainment period in New Orleans, the gong shows. Bobby Marchand, the Magnetic Band, the Social, the Phoenix, the Other Side, Mr. B's, Kilimanjaros, and later even at Flirts. Bobby Marchand would take the gong show to all of these different spots on different nights, pack the house. And so I became a mainstay there, along with other artists like, Angela Bell, Willie O'Derrick. And so I would perform Nasty Bitch at the gong shows. And it was funny, man, because, everybody would do different songs, but I would do Nasty Bitch every single time. So one time, it was Christmas Eve, and everybody came together and they said, "Hey, Bust," Bobby Marchand said, "Hey, Bust, now I'm sorry, man. I know you do Nasty Bitch every night, but we doing Christmas songs tonight, so you got to figure it out." Man, I got up there and did Merry Christmas, Nasty Bitch. Yeah. So I was performing Nasty Bitch in the gong show. So by the time I released it as a record, a lot of people in the city already knew about it. But I knew Nasty Bitch was not a radio song. There was no way you could edit that. I was just going too hard. And so I came up with Put Your Ballys On. And I said, man, I'm going to do Put Your Ballys On. And because everybody in the city love ballads. It's got the second line feel to it. I'm going to get the shout outs and Put Your Ballys On hit. And of course, by the time they bought Put Your Ballys On, they flipped it over and they heard Nasty Bitch. And that's what it was. And to this very day, Nasty Bitch, Put Your Ballys On, Pop That Thing, been going strong. So even though I was performing Nasty Bitch first, professionally, career-wise, it was Put Your Ballys On and Nasty Bitch at the same time.
Okay.
and then pop that thing.
So, when did you first get your Ballys? And since you didn't have them when you first
Yeah, man. I first got my Ballys, man, when I first started cashing them hip hop checks from doing those shows. You know, I made it a point because, you know, I was, you know, it got to the point where I had partners. I was like, man, let me use your Ballys, you know, blah, 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 blah. And, you know, a lot of times they Ballys had 100,000 miles on them already. And Ballys ain't meant for nothing but for about 30 miles, maybe. You know what I'm saying?
And so I want you to like explain how a pair of Ballys look and they got 100,000 miles on
Oh
them.
man, the front be booted up, you know, they be leaning to the side on the hill, it's because it's like Ballys, that's an expensive, that's a luxury item, and it's like they're not meant for hard usage. You know, you buy this soft leather, and they're meant to purchase, wear them, at least to me, and you wear them, I don't know, 5-6 times before they start looking worn. So they were really Ballers exclusives, to be honest with you. And so, you know, if you had a pair of Ballys on, it was known that you was doing your thing.
Gotcha. So, being from like Marrero, West Bank, and all, how hard was it to push your song in New Orleans where, like, you know, New Orleans didn't really respect the West Bank?
Right. Well, yeah, I used to always say that. You know, I had friends from the East Bank, oh, y'all West Bank niggas, y'all blah, blah, blah. So, you know, by me doing the gong shows, really I had already broke the ice. But when I did Put Your Ballys On, I was like, man, I got to figure out a way to crack the East Bank. So when Ice Mike was bumping that track, it had that second line feel to it. I was like, yeah, I'm a rock out. What else could I do to make this song more marketable in New Orleans as a whole? And I said, Ballys. So I'm gonna make it a chant, and I'm gonna make it party oriented. You know, and bam, we dropped it, and you know, I don't know, it took a couple of weeks for it to really catch once it got on the radio, but once it did, we banged out.
Gotcha. So, answer this question: like, who was the first East Bank artist to actually like embrace you over there?
Damn. All right, let me think on that one. Hold on, let me think, man, because that's hard to tell because I already had a lot of respect among the artists in Orleans Parish. You know what I'm saying? I really did, because I used to do shows with Rockers Revenge with Howard, with DJ HC. He's from the 9th Ward, and you know, really, when you want to talk about the artists who embraced me from the East Bank, it was actually before hip hop. Come to think about it, it was like, you know, Phil Dew, Notorious Nate. These were active guys who were, you know, performing and doing shows and rocking it. And, you know, just artists like Gregory D. You know, I was
Shout
cool.
out Gregory D.
Yeah, I was cool with Greg, Sporty, Baby T, DJ Lil Daddy from the Ninja Crew. You know, so I was already embraced on the East Bank. My thing was breaking into the market.
Right.
That was different. But in terms of the hip hop community, Tanya P, you know, all of these people had embraced me already, and they respected my talent as I respected theirs. So yeah, so my whole thing was, when I was performing in the gong shows, the people, you know, on the East Bank, they already respected me, but I had to break out mainstream status with them, and I did that with Put Your Ballys On, and of course Q93, you know, playing it.
Okay, so like, you know, a lot of artists don't really understand like the business side of it. How was it possible, like, for your song to actually get on Q93? Like, did y'all have to pay? Did they actually pick the song up? Like,
well, that was the interesting thing, man. We were, you know, when Courtney put us out and we did our thing, we were so early in the game that the radio station wasn't political, at least not with us. You had, you know, Davy D up there, and man, it was like, it was pure back then. They heard the record. I remember Karen Cartella, you know, they heard the record and they liked it, and they said, put it on. It wasn't like, okay, we like your record, but you know, how much you got? Right.
Yeah. I mean, they're not putting artists on right now.
No, it's a lot more political. So, you know, I attribute that as well to our rise, because the radio, at least in terms of hip hop, it wasn't political at that time. It was like, even the people who worked in the radio stations, they loved hip hop, and they wanted to see real hip hop win.
Right. Okay. I got you. So, I want to know how this song came about. Like, you know, like, was you in the bed? Or like two women? But like, was you watching porn? Like, how did you make Nasty Bitch?
Well, Nasty Bitch was a trip because, yeah, it was a little bit of all of that. But see, I've always been the type of artist. I like to be able to switch it up for different audiences. I've never been like a one-trick pony with it. So when I did Nasty Bitch, you know, I actually went and sat in a couple of gong shows and didn't perform. And I thought to myself, okay, this is more like an amateur night at the Apollo crowd. This is an older crowd. They don't like hip hop. So what I need to do is bring that comedy to them. And also that shock value. You know, if you could combine shock value with humor, you can't lose.
Right.
And so that's when I came up with Nasty Bitch. I already had the hook floating around. Because I always keep like 4 or 5 notebooks filled with ideas. So, you know, I'm turning in pages and all of this kind of shit, and I zeroed in on that. So Nasty Bitch was actually a work in progress because at first it was I don't know, maybe 5 years before Nasty Bitch, I used to perform the song, you know, it was called High Twat Bridget. You know, it was humorous. It rocked every crowd. I performed it on the Push It tour with Salt and Pepper. I performed it on tour with Dougie Fresh. I performed it on tour with 2 Live, you know, as an amateur. And so I knew that verse is going to work. So I found the hook. After I felt out the Gong Show crowd, I found the hook. And then I added 2 more verses to it. And of course, I ended it with that Biz Marquee piece because I knew, you know, that was gonna rock the crowd. That's it. And every time I performed that song in the Gong Shows, man, I won. I mean, maybe not first place every night, but pockets wise.
You won.
Yeah, because you know, with the tips, $500, $600, $700. You know, that's how I met Courtney. You know, I had performed the song. I performed Nasty Bitch, and he gave me like, you know, $100 or something, 100 plus for the tip. And so after the show, he approached me and he said, "Hey, I want you to perform that song at a club I'm opening." I was like, "Man, forget that club, man. Let's put out a record." And then he smiled. He was like, "What record?" I was like, "The one you just paid me all that money for." Bam. Courtney jumped on it. You know, he a businessman. He don't be waiting. We in the studio before you know it in Dallas, Texas, getting it in. That was real.
Oh, so you been traveling, huh, Courtney?
Yeah.
So,
No doubt.
basically, I got this question for you. Like, after, you know, putting out, like, you know, put your Ballys on, yeah, you already had Nasty Bitch. Like, did you get signed to one on a record label?
Well,
or
yeah,
your song just went like mainstream?
well, the song took off. Cause see, I don't know about now, but at that time, Q93 could broadcast to Baton Rouge, and sometimes, from what I understand, on a clear day, damn near to Lafayette. So we had such a large, you know, piece of, you know, landscape to deal with. So, you know, instantly we out there doing shows. And so the BRE convention came to town, which was an annual thing, and Bust Down was popping at the time. And so all of the labels were inquiring. And of course, Luke, you know, he was like, you know, damn, he got Nasty Bitch. We on that Band in the USA shit. You know, let's talk to Bust. Let's see what we could work out. And the day after the BRE convention, you know, bam, I'm, you know, having breakfast with Luke,
Uncle
working
Luke?
on the deal. Yeah, I don't know about Uncle. We got history. I don't know, you know what I'm
Can't call him
saying?
Uncle Luke, huh? He wasn't Uncle Luke then, huh?
Nah, he Uncle Luke, but you know, with Bust Down, that's Luther Campbell, you heard me?
But it only makes sense for y'all to work together, and because of the type of music he was making already.
Right, exactly. They was on that wild X-rated shit, and that was Nasty Bitch. So when I hit the road with him, you know, it was a perfect fit. You know, between 2 Live, Luke's solo album, you know, Bust Down, Poison Clan, you know, it was a perfect fit. And we had a lot of fun rocking those shows.
Okay. Speaking of all these, you know, like hip hop legends, let's speak on somebody. I'm like from a railroad.
All right.
Like MC Thick. Like, Like, what was y'all relationship? Did y'all ever make music together, et cetera, et cetera?
Yeah, well, MC Thick, man, that's my dude, man. You know, before hip hop, man. Well, I won't say before we were professional. Man, I remember MC Thick and I, man, we were at school, and he was a very smart person, and he had the greatest English accent, like he was from England. So he'd be talking like he from England, but he'd be saying all this ghetto ass shit. He used to be funny like a motherfucker, man. So, but anyway, man, we were a rap group at one point called Thick and Thin. You know, I know that sound corny, but that was by design. That was always my thing. Let's make everybody underestimate us, so when we rock that bitch, it's gonna be that much more fire. So we were Thick and Thin. And so, of course, when it was over with, I went back to Buzz Down, but he went ahead and held on to the name MC Thick. We even collaborated on a song that was called Marrero, and we came up with the hook. And so by that time, I was doing my thing, and he was like, we shook on it. He was like, man, that hook we came up with, I want to use it. And I was like, well, do your thing. And the rest is history with that. And, you know, he went on to do his thing with that song Marrero.
Speaking on that song, Marrero, you know, and we got to speak on it because,
sure.
you know, it was a song that went like national, right?
Right, yeah, it did.
And like, I want to know how the other people from the West Bank felt, like, you know, Harvey, Gretna, Aljaz, when it first like really boomed.
Well, I didn't hear about no smoke from it from the things he said, but I would not be surprised if people did say some things, because he made a couple of devices. He made some divisive comments. He did, but you know, for the most part, it was love. And you know, and what was interesting was outside of the city, outside of the state, to see it take off like that. And you know, because kind of like what NWA did for Compton, you know, that's kind of like what MC Thick did for Marrero. You know, I'd go out of town and people would be like, man, what's up with Marrero? I'd be like, yeah. You know, I give them what they want. You know what I'm saying?
Take a picture of Marrero.
Yeah. So, you know, it was cool, man. He put Marrero on the map.
Have you ever been to one of his shows?
Oh yeah.
So like, how was it like him singing Marrero on the East Bank? Cause like, I just wanna.
Nah, I ain't go to none of those.
I wanna feel like
I didn't
how
go
they
to none
felt.
of those, but he never told me about getting jumped or nothing like that. Right. I'm gonna be honest, man. People loved the song. They loved the storytelling, because the story that he told was the story of every hood that's going through the struggle. You know, so they didn't trip on him. They wasn't like,
he even named the police name.
He did. He did. He was tripping on that. But you know, that was, you know, do your thing.
But he made him popular.
Yeah, man. So yeah, MC Thick, man, he laid it down. He did. He was like a street reporter.
Right. Okay. So, like, tell us, what do you enjoy most about being in the music industry, and tell us what do you actually, hate about being in the music industry.
Well, I won't say I hate, but it's one of the things I dislike about it. You know, if somebody could get over on you, they will. But that's just like with any business, right? You know, so I would just encourage any artist, you know, to you know, cross your T's, dot your I's, get an entertainment lawyer involved. Because, you know, I'll be honest with you, I don't like to talk about this all the time, because I don't really like to, you know, go into the whole idea of somebody getting over on me. I'd rather, you know, sing my victory song, you know. But, you know, one of the things with me, the mistake I made, is I went in as a rapper. You know, I wasn't really focused on the business. I was just focused on rocking that crowd and getting that reaction, getting that response, being the tops. Right. You know, and at the end of the day, you know, it didn't turn out the way I wanted it to. But, you know, so just, you know, handle your business. And, but what I do love about it is that, I mean, I haven't been in the music industry making a living for a very long time. But, cause I mean, as soon as shit started going wrong, you know, I just went ahead and went back to school right quick. But, what I do like about it is, man, I put out a song in 1990 or 1991. It's 2023. Last night I rocked the concert. Everybody knew the words. You know, so I get to be king for a day.
Right. The crazy part, I'm like, dang, I'm 35. I'm like, I don't even know what Bust Down look like. Hey, but then my grandma stay in Marrero. I live down. So, you know, it's dope. Like, I saw, like, everybody's reaction and different things like that. So, I want to give you, I'm like, your flowers here while you can still smell them because people don't get a chance to actually tell their story.
Yeah, I appreciate that, bro. I appreciate that. But I'm going to tell you, man, you know, somebody else was telling me that, you know, I want to give you your flowers, and I appreciate that. But I'm going to be honest with you, man. You know, when I came out, boy, the city of New Orleans gave me my flowers at that time. I ain't gonna lie to you. You know, it was like...
It seemed like back in the day, like at the city actually supported artists. Man, like now it's like they just look at you like they don't give a damn who you is.
See, that's my thing with a lot of new artists these days. See, I'm old school. If the crowd not bucking, I didn't do my job. Right. So I see a lot of artists and the crowd is just sitting there like... But then when you talk to the crowd, they say, we liked him.
Right.
But that's...
I just saw that because, like, I was watching online on, like, I was the Lil Wayne show, and I'm like, damn, the people I jumping with fucking Drake. I'm like, Drake, the biggest artist out. I'm like,
that don't sit well with me.
That's crazy.
I go out there.
Right.
I go out there. My job. I remember Joe Black asked me this, man, and nobody had ever asked me this question before, and I never even thought of it. But he asked me. We were working on a song. And the answer I gave him applies to shows too. He said, "Bust Down. So when you writing your song, what are you trying to do?" And he said, Joe Black said, "What I'm trying to do is this, and let them know this, and let them know this." And he asked me, "So what are you trying to do?" And no one had ever asked me. I answered, "Man, I want the people to love me. That's it. Bust Down, rocking the house. That's what I do. I'm here to rock this bitch, for real. I'm here to give you your money's worth, you know." And I'm competitive. I mean, it ain't nothing personal. You know, I got good relationships, even with Tim Smooth and MC Thick. I love those guys. But when we did shows, we were trying to win. That's it. We trying to get the MVP of the night. We want the people to carry one of us out on their shoulders, preferably me. This nigga Bust Down. I don't want the people to say at a show, after a show, Bust Down is good or great. I want them to say, that's my nigga. Right. For real. That's how I'm coming with it. So that's how I approach every concert. You know, now sometimes it might not work out the way you want it to. You know, that's just, to me, if you never had a rough night in the entertainment business, you ain't did enough shows.
Right.
You know, that's just what it is. That's just what it is. But you go out there and you go out on a limb and you do your thing to win the hearts of the people. That's what it is to me.
And so speaking on, you know, MC Thick, Tim Smooth, like, do you think because y'all was coming from the West Bank, y'all just had more to prove?
Definitely. Yeah, and that's what made us stronger. That's what made us more complete. Because we were like, you know, we already coming from a deficit from another person's perspective. Right. So we can't just be good. We got to be outstanding. And that's exactly how we was coming when we went into that studio.
Right. Because I noticed every artist who made it anywhere close to mainstream from Marrero made it their point, like, we from Marrero.
Right.
Like from Chopper to Baby Boy to whoever made it any close, like, I gotta let you know I'm from Marrero.
Right. That's what it is. But to be honest, in hip hop, that's what it is. Where you from, that's what you represent. Right. You know, that's where your people from. That's where you fell in love at. That's where you got your virgin broke at. That's where you had your first fist fight.
I'm asking this question, like, from the 80s to versus now.
Yeah.
From the 80s versus now. Do you think, like, why you think New Orleans don't still give Marrero like they props? Like, because Marrero, every 10 to 15 years came out with another artist. Like, out of everybody, Marrero stayed producing artists.
I'm gonna be honest with you, man. To me, that's just a part of human nature. Cause when you look at it, if you go to the East Bank, they got their little internal beefs over there. You know what I'm saying? You know, the ones that got it bad is Algiers, to be honest with you. Because, you know, on the East Bank, they like, man, fuck them Algiers niggas, they on the West Bank. But then on the West Bank, they like, fuck them Algiers nigga, that's Orleans Parish. You know what I'm saying? Algiers got it worse than anybody. Much love to Algiers.
Like,
my people from the fish.
Yeah, like, that's all I see. I got, like, I'm like, my dad's side is all from the Fisher, and I always be like, it's crazy, it's because the Fisher don't claim Algiers.
They don't fuck with that.
They claim Fisher.
All right, see,
Yeah, but everybody on the West Bank is country boys to
They
them.
don't fuck with Algiers.
Yeah, they don't claim nothing else but the Fisher.
Right.
So it's like that's even more.
Right, man. I'll never forget, man. I did a show at this club, Unfadable. That was right by the Fisher.
Yeah.
And I had never done a show in that area. And you know my people from the Fisher. And I did the show, man. I'll never forget the crowd response, man. It was just like over the top love, man. It was like I could do no wrong. It was like I could have forgot the lyrics on the song. And the Fisher was showing me love. They'd have sang it for me, bro. It was like really beautiful, bro. And so after the show the next day, I called up my moms because she from the Fisher. I was like, your hood just showed me so much love. And she was like, oh, really? You know, it was beautiful, bro. It really was.
Okay. So, tell us, what's next for you?
Man, what's next for me, man? I'm going to be honest with you, bro. You know, I'm a career man. You know, I've been in my career since 2001. You know, that's my meat and potatoes. Hip-hop is my bread and butter. You know, and I like it like that because it's hip-hop right now for me is where it was when Courtney and I first met. It's fun. I'm not sitting there making no songs saying, I gotta sell so I could eat. I gotta make sure I do this. It's not like that. It's back fun again. So I'm at my most creative right now. And with this internet shit going on, man, you know, the sky's the limit. You know, because, you know, I've really been tiptoeing into this internet thing, this social media thing. I'm on Facebook, but I was talking to DJ Precise the other day, and he was like, Bust down, if you got on IG, the sky's the limit for you. So I'm old school, I'm 52, I'm gonna try to get on IG sometime this week.
If you got your kids to do it for you.
Yeah. Shouts out the river, for real.
All right, and also last but not least, tell everybody what can they find on social media and just everywhere?
The only place you can find me right now is on Facebook. I'm not on IG right now, but if you pull up Bust Down on Facebook, you know, you give me a holler. I'm going to try to get back at you. I'm a working man. So when I get off from work, I gotta get my scotch. After that, but I'm on Facebook. I'm going to be on IG in about a week, but on some real shit, if you want to, you know, get the Bust Down experience, you want to see what it is, you want to see me rock the house, you want to see me get down, you come to the concerts, and I'm going to give you what you're paying for, trust me. That's how the old school do it. True school, you know what I'm talking about? For real.
In the upcoming documentary.
Oh, yeah. Me, listen, see, I look at, you know, my memory not what it used to be. But, me, look, Courtney and I, man, we just finished collaborating on something, man. We going to come out with a documentary. And we going to, because to be honest with you, man, what you're saying is some real shit. A lot of people seem like they have amnesia or convenient amnesia about, you know, when the West Bank did it. You know, and I'm not trying to knock anybody else. I'm just saying, you know, we you know, the recognition is we deserve that for because, you know, people don't know this, but Bust Down is the first rapper from not only New Orleans but from Louisiana to damn near go platinum. If I didn't, the numbers are you know, the numbers are kind of hard to prove because Luke and them, you know, is some legality shit, you know, but you know, but definitely gold. So, you know, the first, you know, don't get me wrong, Gregory D got a deal and Warren Mays had a deal. I think Warren had a deal with Atlantic or something like that. But, and I love them. I do. I'm inspired by them. But Bust Down is the first one to truly bang out on the national scale. You know, doing shows in DC, doing shows in Texas, Florida, you know, Detroit, you know, pack houses. You know, people don't know that. But in fact, Gangsta Boo just passed. And I went ahead and gave her a shout out on Facebook. People don't know, man, she remixed Nasty Bitch. She did Nasty Trick. You know, so Nasty Bitch was popping in Memphis, Tennessee.
Did you get paid for it?
Well, yeah, you know, she went through the proper channels.
Said, yeah.
But the whole thing was, you know, who got really paid for it was the ones who own Yeah. So you know, I messed up with that.
But your business wasn't on like fully right.
No, but the beautiful thing was, yeah, they got over on me, but man, I had a victory moment about 2 or 3 months ago. Man, I called Lil Joe Records, called and said, "Give me my money," blah blah blah. I called that man and say, "How much for the masters, man?" I'm not showing up begging for shit. I ain't showing up, you know, telling you wrong. I'm showing up with that bankroll.
But you need your masters.
Yeah. So, you know, I'm trying to work that out with him. I'm gonna talk to Courtney about that because he definitely got a stake in that as well. Yeah. And so does Ice Mike. And I'm gonna try to make this shit right, you know, when it's all said and done. Cause to be honest, right now, the album, you know, it's still generating money. You know, that nasty bitch look like it's gonna live forever. You know, and we
classic,
we deserve to be compensated for that. And so, you know, that's in the works.